Hey there, it's Ashley Weber, and today we'll do a sequence for digestion yin style. So let's get started. All right, today we're going to start with a supine spinal twist. So we'll come onto our back and very slowly we're going to create a little traction in our spine first. So we'll interlace our fingers behind our head, elbows point up to the ceiling, and then treating your shoulder blades like they're feet. One at a time, you're going to walk one shoulder blade up the mat, plant it down, other shoulder blade, plant it down, and you keep climbing up your mat one shoulder blade at a time until you can't go any further. And then relax your head. We'll take our arms out to a T, and your palms can be up or down, and just feel what feels good on your shoulders here. And then one at a time, you'll pull one knee into your chest, and then the second knee, and then just very slowly let your knees fall to the right, all the way down. And now we're coming into our breath. So start to slow down, and if the mind wanders, come back to the breath. What is the breath quality? How can your breath help to regulate your nervous system? And then I'll take one more moment here and let your next exhale pull your knees one at a time back into your chest. And then pause. And then we'll let the knees softly move to the second side. We'll be here for a moment, and if you've noticed that your shoulder has come up off the mat more than 1 inch, you want to take your knees a little closer into the chest to help ground your right shoulder. And if it's comfortable for the head or the neck, you're going to turn your gaze to the right. And we'll be here for a few more breaths, softening into our body. Soften is key in yin yoga. So anytime we're holding a pose, you want to ask yourself within that pose, where can you soften just a little bit more and let go just a little bit more? All right, we'll come back to center. You're going to fold your right knee into your chest, left knee into your chest, and then we'll take our feet one at a time flat. Let's slowly transition up to seated. So you're going to roll completely over to one side. Then pause here just for a moment. And then you'll press into your top arm, using your top arm to help support you to come up. So you're letting your head be passive. You're letting your neck be passive here. And you're just going to slowly transition up. And you'll come to the center of your mat, and we're going to position our legs so one leg's internally rotated, and so that'll be your right leg. You're going to make your right shin parallel to the short edge of your mat, and then your left shin, so this leg will be externally rotated, and it's going to line up to the long edge of your mat. And then we want to feel a little bit more width in our sitting bones. So you'll walk your hands forward and kind of lean into your hands and pick up your seat and widen your sitting bones a little bit right to left. So there's a little more spaciousness. And then very slowly start to draw your hands back in and see if you can find an upright position. Now, if you're tight in your thigh, in your right quad, You may not be able to sit all the way up tall, so you'll just stay at a comfortable position. But if this is available to you to sit up all the way, you're going to take your fingertips on either sides, kind of in the line of your hip, and then lift up and see how that feels. And remember, in Yin Yoga, we're backing off from a lot of sensation. We're going for a little bit less, our capacity for sensation. So then when you walk your hands back, notice, have you gone too far, or can you still breathe deeply? So this gets a little intense on that right quad muscle. So you want to move slowly. So any of these positions, right here you can stay. You can stay completely upright. You can even fold forward. Each one has a different effect on the body. So you're going to decide which feels the most needed here. So for me, I'm feeling like I need my thigh to stretch out a little bit. So I'm going to stay back here, and we'll be here for about 6 breaths. So I want you to close your eyes and go inside and feel the sensations. Start to notice that thigh, the right thigh, the hip. Feel like your sitting bones can get a little bit heavier. And it's okay to let your shoulders shrug up by your ears. That's totally fine in Yin. We're trying to traction the fascia and the connective tissue, and so this is what our angle is. So shrugging the shoulders helps that. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then let your next inhale float you back to center. So if you were forward, you're going to, from the forward position, you're going to slightly come back up to a more neutral position. And we're going to twist our spine. So we're going to twist to the left. So the left hand's going to go right behind us, and then the right hand to the left knee. And then we'll just start to turn a little bit, but we'll back off from pulling our navel into our spine. We're going to let our belly relax. Take a breath. And then as you exhale again, maybe you turn and twist your belly a little bit more to the left. Just see if that feels good on the spine. Inhale, stay where you are. Exhale, turn just one more time. Let that belly twist. And then we'll slowly come out of it. So taking our time, especially in this pose, we need to strategically come out of this. So we're going to lean to the left, and we'll take our right leg long, and then our left leg long, and the hands go behind. And you just pause and notice how you feel. Notice if that energy swirling around in your body, that prana, if it's shifted. And then we'll open our eyes and go to side 2. So repeating the same thing on the other side. Right shin parallel to the long edge of your mat. And then you're leaning onto your right sitting bone, bending your left knee, left shin parallel to the short edge of your mat. So let's find some width across the bottom of our pelvis. So you'll walk forward and just start to widen a little bit in the sitting bones from right to left. So you'll kind of move a little bit right to left, creating some space, letting your tailbone unfurl. So then you walk in, and then very slowly you'll decide. So this side could be completely different. And in Yin Yoga, especially, you treat each side like its own individual thing. So we're not going so much for being completely even on both sides. We're going more and noticing where the tight areas are, and then listening to that and staying with that sensation. So if you're feeling like you want to do something different on this side, go for it. So we're going to walk our hands a little bit more upright so our spine gets a little taller. Okay, notice what that feels like. So this might already be talking to you. You might stay here. You might tip back a little bit. We're going to hold this for 6 breaths either way. So find the range that works for you. So I'm noticing for myself on this side, actually this feels like more sensation. So I'm going to stick to this. But you don't have to copy me. So it'll be 5 more breaths in this position. Let's take one more breath here. Really breathe so deep that you're releasing just a little bit more in this pose before you come up. Big exhale out through the mouth. And then walk your hands back in. Blink your eyes open, and then we turn. We make this about our spinal twist now. So we're going to start to twist to the right. Right hand goes behind you, left hand to the outer right knee. Yes, outer right knee, and then just start to twist. And then back off so you can breathe a little bit deeper, inhaling in place. And then as you exhale, you just start to turn just a little tiny bit more. Going deeper, slowing it down to go deeper. Inhaling, lifting through your spine. Exhale, twisting a little bit further. One more time. Inhaling up through the spine, long spine. Exhale, belly wraps to the right. And then slowly unwinding. So first we bring the spine back to center, and then we lean to the right. Take your left leg long, sweep it forward, right leg long, and hands go back, and just breathe and notice how it feels from the right half of your body to the left half of your body. And then blink your eyes open. All right, we're going to move on. So we're going to come to child's pose, but it's going to be a twisted child's pose. Okay, so we're going to come to all fours. Then we're going to have our big toes together, knees the width of our mat. You'll sit back on your heels. And then we're going to, let's come all the way down to child's pose. So let's just feel what that's like. Okay, so one breath here, just so we're starting from a neutral place. And then you'll lift your head and chest up, and you'll thread your right hand underneath, right arm underneath your left arm. And then you'll start to guide your right shoulder to the floor and your right ear to the floor, and then you just breathe. And if the shoulder doesn't completely touch the ground, that's okay too. You can be a little bit higher. You're still getting the twist in the upper back. Let's take 2 more breaths. See if you can breathe a little bit slower on these last 2 breaths. A little bit deeper. All right, pressing with your top arm, come up, bring your head and chest up to center. And then over to the second side. So the left hand, left arm is going to thread through the right, left shoulder on the mat. Right arm reaches up, and then you just breathe. And remember, yin yoga is very similar to a moving meditation, or it's a form of meditation. So closing your eyes is always going to be preferred because it puts you more into your body and feeling your body rather than looking around and, getting back into the mind and the nonsense in the mind. So just always welcome that, to close your eyes whenever you can in this series. All right, so we're going to come back to all fours. So just slowly, I'm getting really relaxed because this is a lot of yin. And we're going to move on to another twist, but we're going to start on the belly. So lying on your belly, and just setting this up right. So we want to get a little traction first. So go ahead and come on to stacking the hands, forehead on stacked hands, and you're going to curl one set of toes under. You're going to pick up your right thigh and set it down. Left toes curl under, and then you stretch out through the heel, set the left leg down. Feel like you can burrow the front of your pelvis into the mat. And then we'll come up. We're going to come up into a Sphinx pose. So setting our elbows up properly, you want to have your elbows just a touch in front of your shoulder line here. And there's going to be a little bit of activity in the upper body, a little bit of tone at first. With yin practices, there's always a little bit of yang in there, a little bit of wrapping the muscle to the bone, and then there's always a little bit of yin and yang practices. So we're going to find a little bit of work here, but not too much work, and then taking the right knee and bending it about a 90-degree angle here, and flexing your right foot. So stay here for a moment and see if you can steer your pelvis back to center. So we tend to kind of pop our right hip up when we're here, but instead we want to dial our right hip down and lift up through the center of our chest. So pushing a little bit more with your left elbow into the floor, it will help you come back to center. So we'll stay here. Now, you're welcome to stay here, but this turns into a twist. So we're going to come up onto our palms. Walk your hands forward a little bit. Lift your elbows up, and you're in this nice big back extension. And then we'll thread the left arm underneath our right arm. So it'll go like this. You'll take the back of the left shoulder onto the mat. And then you'll continue to twist your spine, revolve your spine. So you'll open your right arm all the way back. And then eventually your right arm might touch the floor. We want our right shoulder no more than an inch off the floor. So if you find that your right shoulder is really high, you're going to take your bent knee and kind of pull it deeper into your chest until you get your right shoulder towards the ground. So staying here for a moment or two. And the head turns where the neck wants it to go. So the twist would continue if you turned your head a little bit more to the right. See if that feels good. If not, bring your head to center. All right, let that be your last breath. We're going to lie on our belly. So take your left arm all the way up your mat and then roll onto your belly. And we'll come back to stacking our hands, resting our forehead on stacked hands. And breathing into the back. And moving on to the second side. So coming back to Sphinx pose. So we're lining up our elbows just in front of our shoulder line. Sliding our legs back so we're extra open in the front of our hips. And then bending our left knee out to the side. So it's at a 90 degree. We're going to flex that left foot. We're going to put a little bit of energy into this pose. So pressing down a little bit more pressure with your right up forearm into the floor to level out your hips, center. Feel this. And then now we're going to move on to the twist. So we're going to come up onto our hands. We're going to lift our elbows up nice and high. The right arm is going to dive underneath the left. It's very slowly. Your right shoulder is reaching towards the earth. Your right ear. And then your left arm just starts to open. And you can bend your elbow at a 90 degree angle, or you could have a straight arm out to the side. So there's options here, and then you can continue to look to the left. So one more breath. And then you'll blink your eyes open and we'll take our right arm all the way up and roll onto the belly. Stacking up the hands, resting the forehead, and then shimmying the hips. All right, so then we're going to come back up. Actually, we're going to come onto our side. So you're going to lie on your left hip, and your palms are going to stack, and you'll make sure your hands are in line with your shoulder line. And then we're going to bend our right elbow back. So you'll bend the right elbow and you'll just start to bring the right palm to the heart. And then you'll bring it back. And then maybe you'll bring the palm a little bit further beyond the heart. So maybe it goes to the right shoulder. And then the third one, if that felt good and you feel like you have a healthy range here, you could do the heart, the shoulder, you could reach the arm all the way back. And if you reach it all the way back, you'll glide it all the way up and over, arc it over. And so we'll breathe with this movement. So let the inhale drag your arm all the way back, and then the exhale bring you back to start. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling. And exhale. 2 more. Let this be our last one. We're actually going to stay open. You're going to open out and stay in your twist. So very similar to the way we started class today. See if your twist has shifted or changed from the first supine twist we did earlier. All right, and then we'll bring it back. And then from here, we'll actually roll onto our back so to transition to the second side. So lying on our back, and then moving on to the right hip. And then we'll take it back. So we'll inhale, arm reaches back. Exhale, arc it forward, palms touch, inhale. And exhale. One more time. Exhale. And this next time we're going to stay open and breathe. So we're going to reach the arm back and then exhale, relax. Close your eyes. Find your breath. Find those little places in the body that might need a little bit of softening. And then we'll open our eyes and lie on our, come up to seated before we lie on our back. So we're going to press into our top arm, slowly come up, and we'll very slowly let our legs go long. I want you to lower down as slow as you can onto your back. And before we go into Shavasana, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to share your practice. Namaste.